Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Today we are talking about manifesting and communicating with the higher realms. In fact, these are divine transmissions that we'll experience today, as my next guest has an amazing story of how she connected with the Council of Light. And the Council of Light is an intergalactic group of thousands of light beings from across the multiverse. And their purpose is to support everyone as they shift into unity consciousness and return to their natural state of joy. Danielle Rama Hoffman channels and brings forth on an energetic level the Council of Light, and she also works with Thoth. We'll hear from her today and the divine transmissions that she assists in bringing forth for manifesting the deepest desires of the soul. Danielle, thank you so much for being on Healing Conversations.
Thank you for having me. I can just feel the amazing energy of the people that are tuning into this. Wow, what an amazing community you've gathered.
What an amazing community we wrap around the world. And I really feel there's so much light as well in all the listeners. So we've got some incredible information to cover today. First, let's start with your story. You had an amazing awakening, and your first communication was with Thoth. Can you share that story and how you came to meet the Council of Light?
Yes, well, for me, I think that story began before this incarnation, that I set some experiences up for me, and in particular, meeting some people along the way to help guide. And in particular, I went to a horseback riding camp starting when I was 9 years old. And while I was there at the age of 9 and also at 17, I had lightning go through me, and I had the sense that that was, in some ways, an initiation, preparation to be able to connect directly to Source in retrospect. And, and then in my early 20s, I really was, I think, overly sensitive to energy, highly empathic, and had some time of just too muchism, I would say, too much to drink, just too many substances, and then ended up in alcohol and drug treatment. And up until that point, I really had been kind of an atheist, and then during that time, really tuned into a connection to Source through nature at first, and went into massage school, and then took energy healing and Reiki from the same women that I'd gone to that horseback riding camp. And then I was starting to see energy, feel energy, and hadn't really had an awareness of a guide directly. It was just more my intuition. And then I took a class with Nikki Scully on the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet. And I remember during that class just meeting Sekhmet, and it was so strong, this direct remembering. And I studied with Nikki alchemical healing, which is an energy healing system that works with the Egyptian gods and goddesses, and then received direct transmission into the lineage of Thoth or Thoth. And then, Thoth introduced me to the Council of Light. So that's kind of a very streamlined version of the story. But I think it's important for people to know that I really didn't even have any connection at one point, because now it's really the center of my world.
Yes, that great remembering. So you said a couple of things there in your story that are quite fascinating, Danielle. You were struck by lightning twice. Can you share that experience? In hindsight, we see that was that awakening, but what did you experience in your body?
Well, I remember the first time I was 9, and I was with a friend, and it was really a strong storm, and we were running from one place to another, so it was, grounded through the, it's in the earth and then went up my body, and I remember afterwards just feeling nauseous and, and tired, and that something had happened. And the second time I actually was inside of a cabin and was closing the metal window, so it came in through my hand, and that time I was knocked out and was on the ground. And I remember thinking, because I was a counselor of these younger girls, that I was hoping they would know what to do, and then it passed. And I did have a similar, just a lot of energy going through my body.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's this energy going through your body, and then afterwards, later, as an adult into your 20s, I would say, at the age of 26, you became a Reiki Master. But before that, you were holding hands in a group, and you felt this energy move from you to them. Elaborate on this. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, my awakening really was, kind of spontaneous, even though I think I'd been intuitive since I was a young girl. And the Reiki really helped me have a toolbox for it, so that I could turn it on and turn it off, and that it didn't just, kind of go through me when somebody needed it or wanted it, that I could direct it more consciously.
And so then this connection to Source that you would make, you did that through nature. That's wonderful. Share with us this experience of those coming to you in your meditation. This is where it begins.
Yes, well, I'd had really a direct connection with Thoth, and had been working with him really consciously to bring in my first book, The Temples of Light, and some other work. And so it was really a primary role. And I was meditating and just had the sense of all these beings of light, just thousands and thousands and thousands of beings of light, and remembered that I asked for a representative because it was so many of them, that to have a representative to connect to directly was helpful. And then it was the Council of Light, and it was Thoth who really connected me to the Council of Light, and then their purpose, which is to enhance joy, a high vibration of joy, and therefore health, wealth, and happiness, and really supporting us during this time of transition, was just so right on for me, and what I was tuning into at the moment, that they asked if I would meditate with them on a regular basis. And I think it's fascinating in and of itself, but what I like from what I just shared was also that I've had that time in my life where a guide really is prominent and primary, and then it changes. It was almost like Thoth, he's always there for me, but at that time he stepped aside, and then I worked a lot with the Council of Light, and now he's back. So I think that's also what happens for people in their soul's evolution, is whether it's a guide or just their friends, that there can be energies that are more supportive and conducive for our evolution during a certain time, and that rotation is important. And sometimes in this, I'm just picking it up from the audience too, that the listeners, that sometimes it's good to really have a completion, or to say it's okay for the support that we had up until a point to leave us, to go back to the source from which it came, because it's a vibrational thing, and for us to be in vibrational proximity to that which is the most life-enhancing and current. So, yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then I met with the Council of Light and recorded my personal meditations with them, and then also had a monthly group that I held in Seattle, although people attended remotely from all over the world once a month, and recorded those, and those really were the basis for the Council of Light material that's in the book.
And the book is The Council of Light, Divine Transmissions for Manifesting the Deepest Desires of the Soul. And we're going to experience a divine transmission in this episode where you'll bring forth the Council of Light. It's interesting first. I want to discuss that what some may feel about releasing guides or changing guides. I recall the first time in a workshop where we changed our guides, I felt sadness of the guide change. But I love what you said there, because it is a vibrational thing, and that's really what we're doing these days, is releasing the old patterns and spiraling up on that ladder, and we must have that higher vibrational energy. So you helped make sense there in your own story about this need to shift guides. How does one begin to find their own guides then, if we could give them a few quick tips to that?
Mm-hmm. Well, in connecting with people to help them support their connection to their guides, one of the ways that I find can be the easiest is also for us to understand what our learning style is, and that we may be kinesthetic or more physical, we may be more auditory, more visual, because when we're creating that language with source energy or with guides, it often begins in the language that we're already using all the time. And so I think for those that are called to have a direct connection with Source, with their higher self, with guides, that to really ask for those 100% pure love and light helpers that are pertinent to their now can be a good way to get started, and then to just allow the sensations. And, I just had a client who emailed me today, and she was saying how the energy was just so intense for her. And I reminded her, that we can always modulate it, to ask if we don't understand, to say it more simply, or if it's too fast or too slow, that we're always directing the process, and that it's really important that it's from a place of equanimity. And that's what I've just deeply cherished about my own connection with the divine and with the guides, is that it's allowed me to become the empowered being that I am, that it needs to be eye to eye, peer to peer, divine to divine, not a hierarchy, or that the guide has more guidance to offer than we have ourselves, that it's really a partnership. And there are lots of exercises in the Council of Light book for those that want to meet their own Council of Light, because there are really thousands and thousands of light beings in the Council of Light, and yet we each have our own Council of Light, our own combination of guides. So I think asking to connect to our Council of Light and then allowing sensations can be a good way to get started, and then to really create our own dictionary. I like to think of it. It's like, for some people, they tear up when they feel connected. For others, they just have a sense, a knowing that the guidance is there. For others, they might see something. So I think we each have our own distinguishing signals. It sometimes it's just a matter of slowing down to understand them and to develop them more fully.
I love what you say there, that we have this inner knowing within us, and then these guides that we can connect to. and we just have to tune into that. It is not outside of us. It's all within us. So therefore, we can work with the Council of Light in all areas of our life, on the environmental issues that are heavy on our hearts, on the wealth that we would like to have in our life. And from the back of your book, it says the Council's teachings reveal that by shifting your consciousness and raising your inner vibration, you can change your daily life experience and manifest the life that you want. And it's through these divine transmissions, these direct transmissions of spiritual technology from the Council that include activations of the 10 rays of light and meditations and breathwork exercises. But these will literally change our life, just that small little shift. Can you share more on this?
Yes. Well, there are the 10 rays of light, and each ray of light is a vibration that we can connect to. And I love what you just said there, that it is really within us. And so we have access to higher vibrations, to our natural state of joy, that unity consciousness, or a higher vibration or frequency, it already exists. And I love slowing down to say that, to just remind people that it already exists in our wholeness, that higher vibration. And so we're really just moving into the vibrational proximity of where it exists, or allowing our awareness to focus on the joy that is already there. And that's one of the messages that the Council of Light shares a lot, is that it's not about having joy once a certain outcome is achieved. It's that unconditional joy, that limitless freedom. And so connecting to, for example, the ray of light of joy, the joy ray, calling upon the joy ray can be a way of elevating our consciousness. Or the emerald ray, calling upon the emerald ray, which is the U ray, and that the U ray really is about each of us being who it is that we are full out, and amplifying our signature energies, and that's really a key component to navigating these changing times with greater ease and greater grace, is being who we are, and amplifying our signature energy, our vibration. So that's a few examples of some of the rays of light, and how we can just call upon them to help us elevate our consciousness even further.
Call on them and help them amplify our energetic signature. Again, it already exists in our wholeness. We need to allow it in our awareness, and also allow those sensations to guide us. And so the book has wonderful applications of the rays of light and various exercises. It really is a nice piece of work. So let's bring forth the Council of Light and work with how we can manifest the deepest desire of our soul.
Yeah, so just dropping in for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm doing that, we'd just invite everyone listening to also drop into your signature energy, your unique vibration, maybe thinking about that which makes you uniquely you, even if it's your eye color, your hair color, just really connecting within. And this is the Council of Light that's moving more into the forefront of this beautiful conversation, divine transmission, and we are delighted to be together, to have a direct interplay, a direct interaction, for this conversation is one that is interactive, that we are communicating with you on the level of your multidimensionality, the level of your wholeness, and you are always broadcasting and transmitting and receiving as well. And so when we tune in to what would most like to be spoken about in the beginning of our being here with you in this direct way, it is love. It is the essence of love, the vibration of love. And so we are transmitting the love ray and inviting each of you to tune into the vibration of love, not only the emotion of love, but the vibration of love. For like joy, it is one of the highest vibrations on the earth plane at this time that you have access to. And the love ray really helps to create a vibration of inclusion, meaning that as you are moving into higher states of consciousness or a higher vibratory quality, that which is moving more slowly will come up to the surface to be included. And so we like to say that because sometimes when you're on your path and you feel as if you've made progress, and that you're in greater and greater states of joy and love and peace, that then you can feel as if you're more lonely than you've ever been, or more afraid than you've ever been, or in a vibration that is moving more slowly or more densely, and that can be a part of the process. And yet when you have the vibration of the love ray, you are including units of consciousness of that which is moving more slowly. So as more and more of you is vibrating in your multidimensionality, in your wholeness, then it's like you have 85% of your vibration vibrating in the multidimensionality and in the higher vibration. And so when the 15% of the units of consciousness come to the surface that are moving more slowly, they can easily be absorbed into the wholeness, into the oneness. It's like the ocean having some drops of fear, some drops of separation, represented by drops of water in the entire ocean. It's just a part of the wholeness. It's a part of the oneness, and we want to share that really clearly and distinctly, that everything that's occurred, everything that you've created in your life up until this point has had purpose. It is perfect, that you don't have to, in your evolution of consciousness, try to separate yourself from yourself. Sometimes you're grumpy, sometimes you're happy. This is a space that you can include all of you. And from our perspective, that which had been moving more slowly ends up being rocket fuel for your evolution. So that is what we would begin with, and we are open to your direction, your questions that you may have for us at this time, or reflections as well.
Reflections as well, so that these rays that are coming forth that we can call upon seem to move this denser vibration, our thoughts of fear, our doubts. And as we allow those thoughts and doubts to come to the surface, it's easily included in the oneness. And so that everything that we've created, here we are. How can we then create some of our biggest dreams? We work with these feelings and release them, but we need to bring in these higher dreams, these manifestations. And you say it's just a shift in consciousness. Would that be our thought forms that keep us back?
Yes. Well, that source could of holding back could be unique to each individual, and so sometimes it is the thought form, sometimes it is the emotion, sometimes it is the habit. And that is one thing that we loved as well about this conversation up until this point is allowing yourself to be current with who it is that you have become. And that is what we would recommend if you choose in this moment to decide. And what we mean by that is that, let's say when you were 5, something happened and you're carrying that in your vibration, and there's something else that happened and you're carrying that in your vibration, and you have a habit of being at a certain vibrational place, and each day you wake up and expect that today will be very similar to yesterday. And yet when you allow yourself to be current with who you've become, and sometimes that is in the passing of the guard, of the guides that was spoken about earlier, it allows you to really have that momentum in a way that is consolidated, in a way that is unified, and to allow yourself to be current with who it is that you've become. Also, you can recognize that you are positioned. This is one of the chapters that's in the book as well, called Positioning, that everything up until this moment has been positioning you to be right here, right now, in this place, in this moment, in this conversation, and that all of the perfect people, places, and opportunities are there with you. And we use an example in the book of an arcade game of the coin pusher, that there are coins in the arcade game, and there's this bar that's going left to right, and as the bar moves left to right, the coins get closer to the slot. And sometimes when there's so many coins that are just leaning over the edge, and we would invite you to imagine that for yourself, that you're positioned, that there's so much of your vibration that's leaning over the edge to be current with who you are, and that by just putting in one coin, it creates the momentum to just push everything down into the slot. And with manifesting, that is an important thing to recognize, and the love ray is one that you can call upon to really disintegrate any sense of separation, feeling separate from your dreams, separate from your goals, that the love ray includes the separation so that you can let in all that you've been asking for. Sometimes it really is just a matter of a little bit of effort, and then your life can change a lot. We want you to, if you choose, be open to quantum shift, to it being a spiral, that the linear progression that you've experienced in resources of time, of energy, of money is no longer operating in that way. It can be going to a movie or having fun that actually is what pushes all that you've been asking for into the slot of it moving from a place of energy into actualization. That's one example of manifestation. What we mean by manifestation is that you are creating. You are creator beings. That's also why it can be so much fun to create energetically and also through inspired action. So we would just invite you to, in this moment, tune into the love ray, tune into the possibility that it's much closer than you may have imagined, and just letting it in.
This really is creation energy. It's these higher vibrations that literally, if we can do this within ourselves, that is the solution to everything, including environmental problems. Can we talk more on how we can use this vibration to help change this outer world?
Yes, well, as our dear friend Toth would say, as above, so below, as within, so without. And that there has been perhaps an over-focus in the old paradigm to the external world, to taking oodles and oodles and oodles of action and perhaps striving, and that by paying close attention to the inner world, that is in some ways a very direct way to create shifts in the external world. And we loved that you reflected that it is this creative energy. And what we would say is that each and every one of you are beings of light, just as we are beings of light. You are source consciousness. You are the divine. And you are multidimensional. You are your emotions, your thoughts, your body, your light self, your source consciousness, and that more and more of the awakening to your divine nature can assist in this process. And as we said earlier, it's not that which you're choosing to create doesn't already exist. For example, if you want to manifest someone that you are in partnership with, a loving relationship, that person has already been born. You don't have to make them up out of thin air. They already exist. It's just that your person that you would fall in love with isn't in your life in this moment. So to be aware of that which is already there, and when we spend time together in this way, that is at its base. When you read the words in the book, that is at its base what we're doing, is that we are with you in our wholeness as source consciousness, as your wholeness as source consciousness, and that invites you to access more of that which you are. And so you are a creator being. You can create from the inside out. You can create through your consciousness and through your inspired action. We don't want to neglect to say that it is important for the joy to take action. That, yes, when you line up your energy first, when you are in a high vibration first, and you receive guidance as to what action to take, the action can be even more joyous, can be even more fruitful. And yet, to just be meditating or just be taking action isn't the whole part. It is that union of all there is, accessing that which already exists within you, within your life. There's joy in your life exactly the way that it is. There's more joy to be had. There's more wealth to be had. There's more consciousness to be had without the outside world changing. And that's also something that you can develop, as you each know, that you can be in a state of neutrality, you can be in a state of equanimity, even when things that you don't prefer are occurring. And that is a place to vibrate from. When you see something in your environment that you deem is unpreferred, to be coming from a place of wholeness, and your joy and your equanimity will ripple out into that experience.
Thank you. That's our role then, and that's how we will change the world and anchor in the love for that area. Be in that state of neutrality and equanimity. Now we'd like to ask if you could lead us on a meditation or a process that we could experience, how we could take our fears and doubts and use that as rocket fuel in our greatest dream or desire.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we would be delighted to. So we would invite each of you to just, again, focus on your signature energy, your unique essence, and you can call upon the Emerald Ray if you choose. The Emerald Ray is the U-Ray, and the U-Ray is the amplification of that which makes you uniquely you, the amplification of your connection to your inner guidance. And if you think of your signature energy, your units of consciousness that are you, that when you have your signature energy shining brightly, that which you are choosing to manifest is able to find you. Sometimes when you have had in the old paradigm the tribal consciousness, the fear of losing love, the fear of being ostracized, the fear even of death, by being seen, by being visible, what may happen in your manifestation in the past when you've had mixed results is that you shine your signature energy strongly to begin with, and it's like you order something from Amazon, for example, and you write your address in the order form, and then it's on its way to you. You have your signature energy strong, and then you turn down your signature energy, and it's like you move into another home, and so when your package from Amazon arrives at your door, you're no longer there, and that which you're choosing to create in your life can't find you. So we would invite you, as a part of this meditative process, to really play with how much is comfortable right now, or perhaps even beyond your comfort zone, of shining your signature energy. And you may imagine that it is like having a dimmer switch, and you turn up the light that's you, and you turn down the light that's you. You don't have to have it totally full on if that isn't really optimal for you at this time, but see if you can turn it up a little bit by calling upon the Emerald Ray. And as you're doing that, we would also invite you, if you choose, to put out the call to meet your individual Council of Light, your unique beings of light that are in alignment with your soul's essence, your conscious choice, and are championing your purpose, your life. And as you put out the call for your Council of Light, just allow your sensations. And for you, if you prefer, you can put out the call to connect directly to Source, to your higher self, to your soul. You may find that your soul is a member of this Council of Light. So you've called upon the Emerald Ray, turned up your signature energy, you've put out the call to meet your Council of Light, and from that place of equality, to spend a few moments in the silence calibrating to your signature energy and your Council of Light, allowing your sensations. Remembering that you can direct the process. You can ask for a word or a symbol or color that represents your Council of Light, so you can connect to them further. And now this is Thoth that's moving more into the forefront of this now moment to continue this initiation process And now that you've connected to your signature energy, your Council of Light, you're invited to connect to your Akashic records. And your Akashic records are the records of your soul's incarnation. They hold all the information about you. And in particular, at this moment, at this time, ask to receive the book of you, the book of the next evolution of your soul, the book of you. And as you receive this record, this book, just imagine that within it, you can sense it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can know it, resides your way to manifest the deepest desires of your soul. Because it's not about anyone else's way, it's about your way. What works for you? What's the next step for you? So almost like osmosis, just have the awareness that you're absorbing from your Akashic record that which is your way. And now this is the Council of Light that's moving back more as a group, a band of consciousness. And imagine in this book of your life is all the times that you felt a slower vibration, all the times that you had an unpreferred experience, and that you can now, from this place of love, from this place of high vibration, include it into the oneness, into the wholeness. It's like the pond that is cleaning itself, and all of the mud on the bottom of the pond comes to the surface. It's a part of the process. Before the pond is that clear, pristine, clear water. And so, again, we want you to know that all of you is welcome here, and that you can have the awareness that every time you felt separate from something, it also put out the call for that which you're choosing to align with more fully to be a part of your life. And to complete this meditation, this initiation, we would invite you to really, really strongly call upon the love ray. You may imagine the love ray with a color. You may imagine the love ray as a vibration or a time that you felt the emotion of love. And just imagine that you're pouring this liquid love onto all of those slower vibrations, and they're evolving. And this is what we want to say at this time, is that your fear has within it the capacity to evolve into its next evolution. Your doubt has within it the capacity to evolve into its next evolution. Just like the butterfly that has one evolution, that is the caterpillar, and it evolves into the butterfly. Separation consciousness, solar vibration, it has all had its purpose. It is important. It is valued. And you can ask, if you were in this moment able to choose to have your fear evolve into wholeness, into oneness, would you choose that? And if your answer is yes, then just allow that direction to vibrate from the level of your Akashic records And you may receive a momentum. You may receive a message. You may receive an awareness that you really have mastered your repetitive patterns, that there's more to be garnered from actualizing that which you would truly desire. So while you're pouring in the love ray, we would just review these steps so you can do them again. Called upon the emerald ray to amplify your signature energy. You created a connection with your council of light. We together and you accessed your Akashic records to receive guidance about your way. And you could just have that step be even a little bit more simple, to just ask, what is it that you know? What is it that you have access to? And then pouring on the love ray, and then choosing to evolve your current situation into its next evolution. And this can be a process that you utilize to manifest the deepest desires of your soul. And that you can ask us as well to support you in your actualization of that which you would choose. And we would also just add an image for the step of the love ray, because the love ray, it's like if you were in a cubicle and there are other cubicles around you, other partitions and walls, and everything that you ask to manifest is around you in the cubicle. And so it's right there, it's right next to you. If you just walked out of the cubicle and around the partition, that which you were actualizing would be there. But the love ray, it melts the cubicle. It melts the sense of feeling separate from that which you would choose to actualize. Beautiful. So we would just invite you to take a deep breath to complete this process, remembering that you can call upon us directly, perhaps just taking a few moments to bring your awareness back to feeling your body or wiggling your toes, and then just letting go of this meditation, trusting that it has been the coin that you placed into your life that then creates the momentum for that which has already been lined up to come into your life.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Council of Light, for that wonderful process, an amazing technique. And it's interesting, and I'm willing to bet there's some listeners also who shared this experience in that process. When we think of that big thing, that next step of our evolution, it's interesting to see that there was some fear that may have come up around that. But there in that process, we were able to evolve that fear and include it back in the oneness. This was a fantastic process. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Our pleasure.
Danielle, you would not call this channeling, but you are more connected directly to Source and this consciousness, would you say?
Yes. So I just took a moment to transition there, and yeah, I love the word channeling in the terms that it's being the conduit, being the channel, being that hollow bone, and yeah, and I use the word divinely transmitting because that's how it feels like to me. It's like I plug into a radio station, and then I transmit that consciousness directly.
And what a call today in a transmission of consciousness. It is pure, and it's very self-empowering, and it gives us the sense of our sovereignty, yet we're connected in the unity consciousness. And it's all about joy and the vibration of joy that creates. Beautiful. So you have a wonderful special offer for us to continue to work on manifestation. It sounds extraordinary. Can you talk a little bit about what this is about?
Yes. So the special offer is I like to call it a Get Resourced package, and it supports the acceleration of your financial money and manifesting. So the Money Muse is a panel of light beings that guide you step by step into a new relationship with money, and there are 5 approximately 70-minute audio recordings that really help to create a connection with the new money frequencies, that just as we're evolving consciousness, money has a new purpose, and that money is a life-enhancing soul's purpose championing vibration and energy. So it helps merge spirituality and money, transcend the illusions based in scarcity consciousness, to also be able to really resurrect your divine power. I love that word sovereignty that you used, that it really is our sovereignty to be in connection with our divine power. So the Money Muse audio program, 5 parts, is a part of this package. There's also an individual a video where you can meet your own Council of Light that kind of slows down a little bit of what we did, and also 3 rays of light, the Joy Ray, the Emerald Ray, and the Solar Ray. We didn't talk about the Solar Ray, but the Solar Ray is the Now Ray. So those are a few of the components that are part of the special offer.
Okay, just a few. I know that's such a nice one to manifest on money. The energy of money, a new relationship with money. It's a new energy. And again, when we talk about equanimity and the lack of scarcity, it really is like taking the polarity. And your book talks a little bit about polarity and how we blend. We must flip-flop between both of those polarities. That's very interesting. There's also some beautiful guided meditations on manifesting mastery as well, and the temples of light. How can these be used? Can we incorporate them into our daily practice, or can we sleep with them?
Yes, well, I would suggest, for each person to follow their intuition, and yet they absolutely work if you play them in the background at a low volume, or if you listen to them fully as a part of the Manifestation Mastery CD to create greater health, wealth, and joy. There is a 41-minute chakra clearing initiation, and then also a daily practice that's 15 minutes. And so that can be a great one to just tune in for those times that people are feeling called, that they would love to be guided through a process. And it works a lot to integrate those slower vibrations, as well as the Temples of Light meditations has some beautiful music in the background for people to journey to their own Temple of Light, and then also to choose the vibration, the energy of peace.
Choosing that energy, that vibration. This just helps us anchor it in all ways in our lives. And you talked about the solar ray as the now ray, and I'd like you to expand a little bit more on that. That can help us in other extraordinary ways.
Yes, well, there is that awareness that as we are in the present moment, that oftentimes there is enough in the present moment. So the solar ray, and there's an exercise in the book of gently tapping the index finger on the thumb, just saying now, 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 now. That can be a great way to really reconnect to the now, to the present. And again, what was spoken about earlier, the importance of being current with who it is that we've become. And so the solar ray can also help facilitate that. And, one component that we didn't talk about that's also a part of the special offer is an individual money debris clearing and money vortex activation remote session. And so it's a remote healing session that's delivered energetically and really works particularly with each individual's Akashic records, their soul lineage, their current money and manifestation blocks, and so that's a great way as well to receive some individual attention as a part of this package.
Yes, and again, the importance of being current with who we've become, and that's challenging as old situations come up, but if we just take a shift and make a shift in the way we respond in the current moment, we can clearly see how that is evolving, spiraling upward. We used to think that that would be a cop-out if you would choose love over a situation that is irritating. For example, I like to use if it's raining outside and someone comes in without taking their shoes off and they track rain all over the floor. We need to react to that from this now moment, this vibration of who we are. I feel that so many of us can snap back into that, ugh, look what you've done to my floor. But these are all things, and this is a process that we can use to keep us current with who we've become.
Well, there is an exercise in the book that works with polarity that you basically flip-flop between the two. So the example is a lot around health. It's healthy, unhealthy, healthy, unhealthy. But the one that you just use is like love, irritation, love, irritation, love, irritation. And just, saying it back and forth so quickly that it's like a coin rather than it flip-flopping, it begins to spin, and then it becomes, then it becomes whole. And while you were talking, I also was thinking about, an image that the Council of Light shares in one of the opening tuning in sections that has to do with our thought forms and our belief systems, because that's a chapter in the book as well. And they say to imagine that there's this balloon over your head that has your old thought forms and beliefs, and that it is like a helium balloon. It'll just rise up. But if you want to hold on to it, just imagine that it's actually filled with rocks, and if you keep holding on to it, it'll tumble onto your head. And they kind of use that image, I find them to be humorous in a joking way, that it really is our choice to be current with who it is that we've become or not. And, what I've heard from them over and over and over again is that any choice is viable, that we can choose to be irritated, we can choose to be in the vibration of love, and they're all viable options. And I find that just allows a sense of relief to just include all of who we are. Sometimes that's the irritation, sometimes that's the love.
A high vibrational experience today, and a wonderful reminder that these are choices within us. And with our experience in letting this joy in and watching how we manifest, that just gives us more experience and the trust and confidence in all of it. And fear is definitely going to be a thing of the past. Thank you, Danielle. Any last comments for our listeners today?
Well, I've just appreciated this time together. It's been so fun, and remember that you can each call upon your own Council of Light to support you in this process. And for me, my personal message that I would just leave everyone with is to be you full out.
Be you full out. Well, here's to being full out. And thank you for standing in your power. It is not easy to put forth this information, and you are doing it and standing in your power, and we thank you and honor you for that too.
Thank you.
Be you full on. Thanks, Danielle Rama Hoffman, for being on Healing Conversations.
Thank you.
And now here's a special audio from Danielle on manifesting money. Enjoy.
And welcome to this free introduction of the Money Muse series with Danielle Rama Hoffman and a panel of light beings. This recording is particularly for those of you who are wanting to create a loving relationship with money, and for those of you who are choosing to help usher in the new prosperity paradigm. It will be a joyous time together, and it will be an uplifting time together. And as was mentioned, an introduction to a 3-part forthcoming series. So let us begin. Wonderful. This is the overlighting Deva of new money frequencies. You can think of me like the steward of the energy of money, just like a tree or a plant would have a Deva. Money also has a Deva, and that is how you can think of me. The purpose of money is changing. It has actually already changed. Each of you is just catching up in your own way to that change that has already occurred. And I am one of the light beings that is on this panel. Now this is the energy of the Venus ray that is moving more into the forefront as we are introducing ourselves to you. You can begin to identify and allow your sensations to connect to and relate to and understand the various frequencies that we each represent. And this is money, the energy of money, the frequency of money. For it is essential that I am on this panel about this very juicy topic, which is all about the frequency of money. And the Council of Light is now becoming more and more present. And you can think of the Council of Light like a group of light beings from representatives of different planets. The purpose of the Council of Light is to increase joy and therefore health, wealth, and happiness. And each of you has your own particular council of light that resonates with you and your soul's journey. So know that even though a collaborative frequency is being transmitted at this time, you have direct access to the Council of Light members that are pertinent to your purpose and to your path. So you may be wondering, why have we gathered at this time, and why are we creating a panel of different frequencies, of different vibrations, of different understandings about the topic of money? And we are here in response to your calling. You have asked time and time and time again to have a deeper understanding around money. You have asked time and time again to be able to share your purpose. You have asked time and time again to understand the higher purpose of that which is evolving in your universe at this time, during this very exciting and amazing time. And so that is why we are here. It is in response to your asking. It is in response to your calling. It is in response to your questions. And it is not that we will provide anything that you don't already know within you, or that you are not at this very moment remembering directly yourself. It is simply that we will be bringing forth a level of consciousness that will assist you in accessing that which you already know, that will assist you in remembering that which is already true for you. So we expect that this time together will feel like a joyous remembering for you. It will feel like, oh, I knew that already. That's exactly what I've been sensing. That's exactly the words to describe that which I've been feeling. And we want to take a moment to also verbalize that this transmission is occurring on multidimensional levels. And so the words are only one small part of that which is being transmitted. So invite all of you to listen, not only your mind, but also your heart and your soul and your intuition and your divine self. So now that we have all introduced ourselves, and you have also introduced yourself by sending forth your signature energy out into the universe with your request for more information, that is the answer, that is the impetus for this recording. So now that we have all reunited and regathered, we can move forward with answering your particular questions. And the first panel member that will be discussing your questions is money, the energy of money. And this is the frequency of money that is coming more in at this time. And we are switching so that you can begin to feel the nuances of the frequency of money that is being transmitted now, the nuance of the steward of money that's transmitted through the Deva of money, the Venus ray, and the Council of Light. For each of these 4 critical panel members has a specific purpose that, when all brought together, creates an incredible union. So, again, this is money, and I am a frequency. I am a vibration. I am a vehicle. And it would be beneficial, if you are game, to allow yourself to see me through fresh eyes, to meet me as if it is for the first time. For just like you may have met more than one Sally in your life, or more than one Joe in your life, you may have a preconception about me based on your old relationship with money, based on the money that you have known up until this point. And yet I am inviting you to meet me for the first time, to create a new relationship, to see me with fresh eyes. So even though you may have preconceptions about the other money that you've known, just like you, when you meet a new Sally, may have remembrances of the Sally that you know, allow this to be a reintroduction, an introduction, a fresh start, so that we can begin together as new companions. For I am here for you. I am here to champion your soul. I am here to be of service to you. I am here to be a part of the process that creates your internal shift into unity awareness, into unity consciousness, into love, into the new paradigm. And so in order for me to do what I am here to do, you must agree. This is a free will universe. And that is why you will see a varied experience when it comes to this topic. You will see some people that will hold on to the money that they knew, the relationship that they had with money that was based on fear, that was based on lack, that was based on separation, that was based on power over, that was based on all of those things. And they will continue on with that. And that is perfect for them. For it is not that the old money should be judged or disregarded or discarded, because it was essential in order for this moment to occur. Every time that you have felt a lack of money, every time that you have felt being separate from that which you desire, every time that you have seen somebody else not having their basic needs met, every time that you've been in survival mode yourself, has had its own purpose. And so we are not here to minimize anyone's experience. We are not here to provide the Kool-Aid for you to drink and to be enamored with us. We are here in response to your asking. You know there's a better way. You know there's something new coming. You know that there's something evolving, and you are choosing to be on the leading edge of that. And so that is the response. And yet you may forget along the way that you have actually chosen this. You may forget along the way that you are a creator being. You may forget along the way that this is a new paradigm. And so we are here to remind you of that. And now this is the Venus ray that is coming more into the forefront. And my purpose in this panel is to keep things light, to keep things fun, to keep things in the energy of bliss, to keep that vibrational zone in a very uplifted and joyous and free and amazing place. Because really, that is truly what you want. You may choose to experience that through the vehicle of money, because money can create enhanced bliss, enhanced lightness, enhanced freedom, enhanced joy. It absolutely can. And so you can think of me as outrageous opulence. You can think of me as that ecstatic bliss. You can call upon me to help you to lighten up, to be able to be in the zone of that ease, of that joy, of that bliss, of that grace, of that opulence. And it was a part of the old paradigm to think that money was, an abundance of money was in some ways a luxury. That it was associated with whole bunches of things that we will not spend our time on because you are very well familiar with the old forms. And yet, the universe is abundant. It is prolific with an unlimited source of all there is. There is no lack of anything. That is the illusion. And so allow that to give you permission, because we're also here to, in a way, give you reasons to give yourself permission to allow yourself to have the financial resources that are yours to have. We know where you've been. We know the old belief systems that you're up against. We know what floats your boat, that you are spiritual seekers, that you are service-oriented beings, that you are wanting to be in right relationship with all there is, with all your relations. And so you are wanting to move forward in your relationship with money in a way that is still in relationship to what everyone else does with money. And we have to take a stand here. We have to put our foot down and say, it is not really, and we mean this with the most kindness and respectful way possible, it is not really your business. Again, from that loving place of kindness, we're saying this to you. It is not really any of your business what anybody else is doing around money. It is just not. It's not your business if they have it or they don't. It's not your business if they hoard it or they share it. It's not their business, your business if anything. This is about you and your relationship with money. Your loving, championing, purpose-filled relationship with money. And so, we would say, how would it be if a group of spiritual seekers were very well sourced with financial abundance? With that group, would you be drawn to utilize the vehicle of money to enhance the lives of others? We're guessing, we're betting 100% that you would. That if you were so flush financially that you were overflowing, it would free you up to not only share your purpose, which we know is going to uplift others, not because they need it, but because it's your joy to share your purpose. You would pay others to do what they love. You would create wonderful experiences of heaven on earth for yourself. You would probably contribute large sums of money to people who don't have it. We know that you would circulate this money in amazing and beautiful ways. And that is wonderful. And that would be a reason that you would give yourselves permission to have the money. And we also want you to know that it is absolutely not necessary. Meaning that you don't need a righteous reason for money. You don't need to have a politically correct reason to have a lot of money. Because money is divine. Money is spiritual. Money is that universal calling and it is here to serve you. So if, and we know this is not true, but if the only reason you wanted money was for what you would consider personal gain and stuff, that is a beautiful reason for money. So we are dispelling some myths as we're going along. We are dispelling some illusions as we're going along. And this one is so big. So please just breathe it in. Money is spiritual. From our perspective, and we know this may not be very popular to hear or very politically correct to say, and yet we are here to be frank with you because this is what you're asking for. It is time for you to claim your financial well-being. This is a key that will open up the next level of consciousness on the planet. And so it is not any more spiritual or any less spiritual to have money or to not have money. It's your birthright to have it. It's the nature of the universe to be abundant. And yet, it's not a question of your spirituality. That is an illusion. We believe that you can be of more service if you have it. We believe that you can feel more alive if you have it. And yet you must choose it. And we would say, why not try it? Why not try it? See how you like it. Why not open up and claim your birthright? And if you don't like it, you can go back to being broke. You can go back to being so exhausted by trying to do everything yourself. You can go back to thinking that the only way to God is to relinquish all material goods. Just try it. If you don't like it, if money doesn't enhance your life, then go back to your old relationship with it. Again, we're not here to convince you of anything. We're not here to convince you of anything. We are here to provide an opportunity for remembering. To provide an opportunity for remembering. And in this 3-part series, the Money Muse panel series, we will be providing transformational consciousness. We will be blending the high vibrational frequencies of the divine transmission, of the infinite wisdom around the subject of money with practical tools to create greater abundance in your life. And so it is our joy to have been introduced to you in this way. And please know that you can have a direct relationship with us right here and right now. That you have access directly to all that you need. You do not need an intercessor. You do not need these next recordings to be able to have access to this consciousness. call upon us directly. Ask us to support you directly. And know that it might be fun to have conversations in the form of these recordings. It may be your choice to elicit us in this form to have added support. And so we will not pretend to say that you can only change your relationship with money if you join us for this series. For that is an illusion. That is not true. We would only extend the invitation and let you know that it is our joy and our pleasure to share this consciousness with you. And we know that those of you who have utilized your free will and have chosen, actually call this into being, will be so clearly guided to continue on with us in the next 3-part series that it is not even a question. It's not to say that you won't have some perceived obstacles that you may choose to overcome. Like, this is a subject series on money, and maybe you feel that you don't have the money to pay for the series. Or other things might come up. It's not the right time. Or, am I crazy to be listening to a panel of light beings around such an important subject? So you may have different things that come up in your decision making, and yet the decision is already made. Those that will be joining us will be joining us, and those that will not will not. And either way, we are here for you. We are in service to you. We are in response to your answering. And so for those of you who have decided to join us, this will be fun, it will be uplifting, and you will have more money as a result of this 3-step series. So we will end with the Venus Ray on a very light and fun note. We will bring in this vibration so that you are ending in this place of bliss, in this place of ecstasy, in this place of great joy. And it is our joy, our bliss, and our pleasure to be conversing with you in this way.
To access Danielle's special offer on the Money Muse, click the special offer button on this webpage. And now, thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this program, please share it with your friends and loved ones. And we thank you for shining your magnificent light and adding it to the world. This is when we love ourselves like no one else can. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.